We are here again, kicking it old school. We are live Friday, starting off your week. And remember, we're here again. Yes, we are. With Carl.
What up? What up, everybody?
We have Detroit Love here tonight. We have, of course, Stephen Cameron, my co-host here on Kicking It Old School. And we are
Good
here.
Day, everybody.
We're here to have some Friday fun. Of course, we're here every Friday now from 8 to 9. Then we switch over to the Super Game Room, dudes, which will kick off after our show here at 9 o'clock. And we have, of course, a lot of people in our audience here coming through. Let me see if we can get some of our little chats up here. Too many things to do at once, you know. It's Friday. We have Adam here, of course, wishing everyone sup, gamers. We have Jeffrey. Hey, hey. We have, of course, myself here. I don't want to do that again. We have Shine, everyone. Hello, nice. And we'll keep those going. So, Carl, first of all, thank you for coming here on Kicking It Old School, my friend.
Not a problem. No problem. I am old school for sure. For certain.
Now you are. Now, of course, I've known you for a while. I don't think Steven knows you too well. I think he was looking up some of your information. But I want to tell him.
They call that cyber stalking.
Cyber stalking. We call it that. So I want to tell him a little bit about, your Detroit Love channel and what you do and what you have.
Okay. Well, my Detroit Love channel is, I think I've been on YouTube since like 2006. And I make videos on whatever interests me, and I've been in IT business for decades. So I like helping people. And so anything that I find helpful and I think somebody would appreciate, I put on my channel. Over the last few years, since the home arcade business has grown, I've sort of, gotten into the modding world. And so I show people how to mod Arcade 1-Up cabinets, and tons of people have used my videos to modify their own cabinets. So that's in a nutshell. It's technology based. I have drones, I have electric bikes, electric scooters, whatever I'm doing. I even built my own waterfall in my backyard, and a little miniature waterfall, and show people how to do that.
I did want you to explain that. So continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell. Whatever interests me, you'll see it on my site. And I don't do videos every week or every month. It's just whenever the need comes, I put the videos up there.
And he forgot to mention one thing. Is it Arby's? You love Arby's. Is it Arby's?
Well, the Arby's joke, actually, I was in the DQ parking lot. My daughters work at DQ, or they both used to, but only one does now. But so every now and then I can't make it to the show because I do a lot with my family. But somebody said Arby's, and that kind of stuck. But I don't think I've ever actually eaten Arby's in years. But actually in DQ, Dairy Queen parking lot is where I was.
Well, I think Dairy Queen's got some pretty good food in there, and they have good ice cream, but they have good food in there as well. I'm getting hungry now.
That's questionable.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this Dairy Queen, they don't even sell food. They only sell ice cream, and they're open all year round, which is odd for a Dairy Queen in general, and even more odd that they don't sell food. So people around here eat ice cream all year round from Dairy Queen. So
now,
well, like I was going to get at here with just a second. So as I was cyber stalking Carl, and I was like, okay, I'll get to know this guy and whatnot. So I'm scrolling through his older videos, and I'm looking at it like he's got a waterfall in his backyard, and I'm scrolling up, and then he's got an electric scooter. I'm scrolling up some more, and he's got other stuff, and I'm sitting there going, what am I going to ask this guy? Like, what's he gonna, And then I see, as you scroll further up, it's all mini arcade 1-up stuff, like just a wall of that. Which I was like, oh, okay, his YouTube channel had to start somewhere. All right, good. Okay, so I was clear after that, but I did want to ask you about the waterfall. So did you go through a phase or something and said, hey, I'm doing this weekend, like it or not, I'm doing this?
No,
and I'm going to build
it. I built a house. I didn't build a house. I had a house built. I had this house built. And so it was just dirt, right? Most people buy a house and they may not like the landscape that they have, and may do some changes. But when you build a house, you don't have any landscaping. So
it's usually a big pile of dirt, like you said.
Right. Yep. Just a pile of dirt and clay. And so we designed our own, landscaping, and a neighbor down the street created a waterfall, and he actually did his in the front of his house.
Oh, wow.
And it actually looks really nice. It looks much nicer than mine does, but
well, you were starting out, your first one, probably.
Yeah,
right? There you go.
Yeah, and but it's a wonderful sound for the backyard. I mean, our backyard, we spend hours and hours once the weather breaks outside, and the waterfall is just an awesome sound. It looks great.
Calming sound.
Yes, it's calming, and so it's a really nice thing, and that's one of my most popular videos. People come and because it's a waterless.
It prevents you from strangling people like Glenn.
Right. It's a waterless waterfall, so there's no standing water anywhere in it, so.
Well, you're in Detroit, obviously, hence the name.
What makes you think that?
So the weather there's got to be. You guys still have snow there, or there's no snow?
35 degrees. I think this is the highest we've gotten today. So it's really cold. It's just over freezing.
Okay, so I won't get into the cold debate because
what do you got up there?
Everybody
Steven?
loses with me. So
what do you got? Well, you're Celsius anyways. Your number's always going to be lower because you need to convert it.
We had a blizzard yesterday, and I have about 6 feet of snow in my front.
Well, the funny thing is, I bet you Carl had a blizzard at Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen.
Yeah, Dairy Queen. There you go.
Not the same kind of blizzard, but yeah, I would prefer that blizzard over the crap we got yesterday and the day before. So, but welcome to the show, Carl.
Thank you.
If anyone's ever watched Game of Thrones, winter's coming. That's the old saying, right? Winter's coming.
Cool.
Speaking of
April 1st.
Speaking of that, I've been torturing.
We're not out the woods either.
No, and I've been torturing Jen with Babylon 5. But she says
you did finish all.
No,
of Game of
we've
Thrones,
only we did. We finished Game of Thrones. I enjoyed it.
What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I think, the reason I got it to watch it was for two reasons. That winter is coming, which is the saying in Game of Thrones.
And the Mother of Dragons.
And Mother of Dragons. There's basically that in Babylon 5.
You just wanted to see her naked.
Right.
That basically happened in Babylon 5, number one. And number two, in Babylon 5, because they canceled it early and then uncanceled it. So they had to wrap things up relatively quickly. And I think that Game of Thrones with them offering them Star Wars, doing the shows, and of course they pulled the rug out and then took Star Wars away from them. They wrapped the show up a little too quick. So I think they could have had another season or two easily that they wrapped up in that season 8. So I still enjoyed it. I really do think it's one of the best shows I've watched, story-wise. But right now, she claims to be enjoying Babylon 5. So we're
She says it's a good show.
Yeah, we have 2
put that on the screen.
Oh, she did. There it is. Okay, there it is. So Babylon 5 is a good show.
Then she can't take backseas now.
No,
it's public.
It's
totally public.
Right. So we have 2 more, and then we finish season 1, and then we can start season 2 and really get into it. But so Carl, when you were growing up, I mean, Babylon 5 was more of a '90s show. But when you were growing up, what was like a show?
Your go-to show?
Yeah, what was a show that was like it was must-see TV, as they say back in the day?
Yeah, I am old, so I used to love Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island was my show. I used to love I Love Jeannie.
Oh, I Dream of Jeannie. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, of course everybody loved Lucy. But as we got on, what's the Knight Rider?
Knight Rider.
Oh yeah,
80s.
Knight Rider. With Kit.
Mm-hmm.
With Kit. Yeah, that was an awesome show.
That inspired your technology career, probably.
Absolutely.
Kari that could talk. What else do you want?
Yeah, the Bionic Man. I used to love some.
Oh, Steve Austin.
Lee Majors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's how different things are. Back then, hairy-chested men and mustaches were like all the rage in the 70s.
And Sasquatches. That was on the $6 Million Man show.
It was, and that was usually.
Remember that?
And usually it was a crossover with the Bionic Woman, Jamie Summers. She would come on that as well.
Didn't they have a dog too or something?
She had
it
at one point. She did.
Yeah, she had a dog. Right.
Yeah. I was like, okay, now you're stretching there. Like, come on, like.
Now he had a bionic arm and a bionic leg, like right.
And jaw. He had a bionic jaw.
He could.
The dog.
Right, and then.
Oh.
And then she
had a bionic jaw. That's so perverted, Glenn. You sly dog, you.
And then what did she have? She had the hearing.
She had hearing.
When they had the Bionic Woman.
Yep.
She had the hearing, but then she also had strength, an arm or a leg or two.
Right. They both had the legs. They had one arm. He had the eye. She had the ear. The dog had both ears, jaw, and 4 legs. So it was one fast dog. And it was a German Shepherd on top of it.
Right. I didn't remember the breed. Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's German Shepherd.
Now, I don't remember what Farrah Fawcett was in, but I love me some Farrah
Charlie's
Fawcett
Angels.
growing up,
Charlie's Angels, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you can't. You're right.
But Angels. She was in an episode of The $6 Million Man because Lee Majors at the time was married to Farrah Fawcett.
Right. Yep. That's where she came from. And then she got her own show with the Charlie's Angels.
Yep. And she only stayed on 1 season. You know that, right? She was only in Charlie's Angels.
Right.
Did she
really?
Yeah.
Yep. They switched her out.
Her producer or her agent told her she was a star of the show and she could do much, much better. So she stayed the 1 season and then she left. And of course, Charlie's Angels went on a number of years and it did movies recently, not recently, but early 2000s.
The really bad comedic
Yeah, but she did.
With, Drew Barrymore?
But she did Saturn 3. Who saw Saturn 3?
Not me.
You didn't see Saturn 3?
I remember the name. I couldn't tell you what it was.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You should see, if anyone in the audience has seen Saturn 3, put down some comments what you thought about it. Basically, it was Farrah Fawcett on Titan. Titan around Saturn, and there was a robot that was supposed to help them, but the robot had a brain. It was a human, or not a human brain, but had a brain, an organic brain, and had to be taught. And the guy teaching it got murdered by this guy who wanted to do it himself. He's obviously a murderer, so he's jacking his brain in to this robot, and of course he's looking at Farrah Fawcett like, she's pretty cute. So this robot is now getting these feelings for her. And he's also got now the mind of a murderer. So just take it from there.
Right.
So it was a very, very good show. I thought so.
The 80s and 70s were such a good
time. They were. Speaking of which,
I'm sorry, Hal.
Did you both go to Disney, previous, or, in the past, before this year? Have you guys been to Disney World, Disney in Florida?
I've been to
I've never been.
Disney World. I've been to Disneyland in California.
So have you heard what they've been talking about? Again, it is April 1st, so we got to take some maybe with a grain of salt. But they removed all gender roles at the park.
I think that's a joke.
I think so too, right?
I know there's some law, cannot say gay or something, that don't say gay or something, some law that's being passed. So I think that's a joke.
Don't believe anything today. That's the rule.
I did read it on the internet.
Oh yeah, the internet.
I still have that commercial. I met my boyfriend. He's from France. Bonjour. It's like some nerdy guy who just pretending, but it's on the internet. It had to be real.
Damn.
Oh, the Fall Guy.
I'm
The Retro Show mentioned the Fall Guy.
Fall Guy
I'm
was
looking
good.
through all these
Good
comments.
series.
Some of them are pretty good, like the Jeffersons, Golden Girls. Paul, he's on fire with the Golden Girls there. Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, of course.
Fall Guy. You know what? I love the theme song of the Fall Guy, and Heather Thomas.
Yeah, Heather was cute.
Well, Heather Locklear, man.
Both of them, but when you're a teenage boy, what are you watching Fall Guy for? Oh, it's a really good bounty hunter show.
Well, that was Dukes of Hazzard for me back then.
Oh yeah,
Daisy that Duke, too. Baby. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, but the Fall Guy, I thought it was interesting, but I thought it was just so bland of a show. But the truck was awesome. They needed a vehicle, just like the '80s. That's the thing with the '80s. It was about the vehicles.
What was the one?
Generally,
William Shatner was a cop. William Shatner was a cop. What was that?
T.J. Hooker.
T.J. Hooker.
T.J. Hooker. Yep.
Yeah, T.J. Hooker.
He's 90 now.
Well, he went up in the Amazon space thing for 2 seconds.
Space penis. Yes.
Or whatever. Yeah, the Jeff Bezos thing. And it's like, okay. But he came out of there. His heart was beating out of his chest. He was crying and everything. It was great.
Well, yeah, the guy's 90.
Well, I'd be
pulling
crying.
like 6 G's.
Yeah, his heart went up in his butt basically with all the G gravity forces that hitting the stratosphere. Manimal, geez.
Carl, so we're talking about the TV shows, but when you were growing up as a kid, right? Did you have a home console? Did you have to go to a friend's house to play video games? What did you have back then?
I typically had to go to someone's house up until we had the Atari 1600 or 2600.
2600, okay.
2600. My cousin had the ColecoVision. My first access to a computer was a Commodore PET.
Me too. Yeah.
Wow.
Played all the green screen games. It was an audio cassette that
seventh grade for me.
Yeah, it would have been, I think, probably 4th grade.
You're older than me, so you had to be high school or something.
The Commodore we had in elementary school.
Before. Yeah, grade 7 for me. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
I was just looking
I worked
at it
in the computer room. I worked in the computer room at every school level I was at.
Oh, that's cool. Commodore PET.
We had in my school we had a PET, but we actually had some machines that were just like teletype. It was just ribbon, loose leaf paper with the tractor feed paper, and just a typewriter. So
dot matrix
printer was just a keyboard with that. You wrote your code, it printed it out, and then if you wrote 10, go back to 10 print high, go back to 10.
Go to 10,
and just hit it and walked out of the room. The printer was just going, wasting all the paper. That's the thing we did back then.
Now, I don't remember any of that. The only thing I remember, I don't know if it was the gas bill or the electric bill. They would have these little cards that had all these little holes punched in them.
The punch cards, the teletype cards.
Yeah. So I know the bills would come with those in it.
We're really dating ourselves tonight.
Yeah, I never saw whatever computer handled that, but it was evident that
a lot of times, Carl, those were the program. Like you would write your code, and you would have it on a punch card, and then you would go into a reader, and it would read the card to load the program or to read whatever data printed out from the machine. Those are usually like mini frames for the most part, I think. I mean, I guess some.
You know what? I don't say this too often, but that's before my time. Wow. Those punch cards. I didn't go through that.
I know my brother did. My brother was learning, I think, COBOL in school, and
I learned COBOL.
COBOL, right? So not COBOL from Battlestar Galactica. That's a different COBOL.
COBOL, Fortran, and Pascal was the languages that I.
Basic.
Yep, of course, basic. Yes.
Can't forget basic. It's basic.
It's basic.
So you would say, Carl, your first system really at home was the 2600. That was aside from the using the PET.
Yeah, 2600. I think we had a Tandy computer at some point in time.
Coco or a TRS-80 Model 1, black and white color.
Yeah, it was color.
Okay, it was a Coco. It's probably a Coco Model 1 or 2.
Yeah, but the ColecoVision was the one that got my attention.
That's right up his alley.
Because you could play, what was it, Donkey Kong, even though it looked horrible.
The arcade stuff was at home. It was the only one that had near arcade representation, really, back in the day.
Which was nowhere near. But
it was close, but in our heads,
Right. We didn't have to spend any quarters, even though somebody spent a lot of quarters to buy that unit. But I would say the one thing I had the most, that I got the most play out of it, was the old LED football games.
Oh, the Mattel. The Mattel one?
Yeah, the Mattel. Yep,
I've got one of those.
The Mattel football with the little dots and the throw the ball. And it's just
where the hell it went, but somewhere.
I think that got the most play, obviously, because it was portable, right? And you could take it anywhere. I think
first Game Boy.
Is that a 9-volt battery? I would imagine.
Yep, it was a 9-volt in there.
It was
9-volt battery.
And then they remade it, I should say. It wasn't LEDs anymore, or the vacuum style. They made them out of LEDs now. You can get them now at like Toys. Well, not Toys R Us. They're gone. I guess now it'd be Walmart. But you can still get them, and they make even a small one.
Really?
It works. Yeah. They're obviously not the original,
really?
But they look like the original.
I'll have to take mine out one of these days. I have it stashed away somewhere. It's green, and I think it's Mattel that made it.
Yes,
but I'm not sure.
It was Mattel.
No, but like there was clones of these things, kind of like the Pong machines, right? They had like, the Pong standalone stuff.
Right.
Everybody and their dog made those things, and I think those little football games, it was somewhat the same in a sense. They were reproduced by 10 different people, I think.
Yeah, and we definitely had Pong. So I don't recall if we had the dedicated system or I played it later, but I definitely played Pong early on. My best friend had the Intellivision. And Intellivision, I think, was, it had where you can directional, you can go, I don't know, it's not 8-way. It had to be more than 30. You probably know, Glenn. Is it 32-way? I don't know.
Wow, why would I know? Am I that old?
Well, no, because
you know everything. We'll just ask Jennifer.
But you had basically like a phone.
Right.
pad,
it was 16 directions on the.
Okay.
16.
Yeah. So the basketball, you had these stick figures, but you could, throw diagonally or move diagonally, which was revolutionary at the time, But it didn't age well.
Now, were you a sports game guy? Did you like sports?
I was more of a sports game and a guy, and I didn't really play sports in school or anything like that, but I enjoyed the sports. When the computers came out, I had the 1-on-1 with Larry Bird and Magic. Was it Magic Johnson?
Magic Johnson, Larry Bird,
Dr. J.
Dr. J.
Dr. J. I don't know what his real name was, but
Julius
something or something like that.
Julius Irving.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Dr. J and Larry Bird, 1-on-1.
Yeah, so I always had sports on whatever platform. I had some degree of sports game on it for certain.
Well, it looks like Rexer is definitely a television fan.
Yeah, and television was pretty revolutionary for the time.
Well, they had that voice thing too.
The IntelliVoice. Cool. But the Magnavox Odyssey had it too.
Did they really? Yeah,
they did. It's called The Voice, but I do think that the IntelliVoice sounded better. I loved playing Space Spartans, B-17 Bomber, Bomb Squad.
They even had the southern accent on B-17 Bomber.
B-17 Bomber. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. It was like, wow. They even got the accent. It was impressive for sure, So it's pretty cool.
So, Carl, now, does your family partake in playing games as well, or it's just your own hobby? Because I know you have daughters. I mean, do they play them as well?
Yeah. Well, I have 2 boys. They live in Canada, and 2 girls here. The boys are more into it. The boys are more techie than the girls are. The girls will come down here. They'll come down here and play. If we have a get together, they'll come down there. But they wouldn't just come down on any given day without some special event to play.
Yeah, it's the same at my house.
How far away in Canada are they? I mean, they like.
There's just over in Windsor. Well, somewhere a little north now. My youngest son, but I got married. I married a gal over in Windsor back when I was 18.
Carl knows where to get them. Farm fresh Canadian girls. Yeah.
So first they're taking our TV shows. Now that the women are coming and taking over. What about American women? They're out in the cold.
Isn't there a song about that? Get away from me,
International Lover.
No, not that one, but it was American Woman. It's called
American
Get Away
Woman.
From Me.
Get away from me.
Yeah, yeah.
American
see, that means
woman.
Maybe, I don't know.
You want
I didn't write
Glenny?
it.
Yeah.
So it's good. No, Carl, that's pretty awesome. That a 2600 and that whole thing. That's pretty cool. Tell us about the arcades and the background there. What do you got back there? What do you? What's your prized possession back there behind you?
Well, before I address that, it's very appropriate that I'm in this Palm Pilot because I was into Palm Pilots like crazy. You wouldn't believe when the Palm Pilots came out. I did that for years. Had a website called Palm Loyal, and it was a awesome time. And I really hated that they didn't get on the board.
They were
with the
ahead of their
technology.
time a little too early, I think.
Yeah, they were. That was like one of the that was like the second one that had internet capabilities. But yeah, I love the Palm Pilots. I had the Casio Boss prior to that, to be able to keep all your contacts and things like that. But yeah, Palm Pilots, I loved. I did not like Apple when they first came out.
The Newton?
I fought it like crazy.
Like the Newton?
Yeah, Newton. I had a buddy that had the Newton, and that thing was sweet. I wanted it so bad; it was just so expensive.
Didn't Apple make a video game system called the Pippin?
They did. It did not last more than I think a month and a half, and it was gone.
That's died right out of the gate. Wow.
Yeah, and kind of like with these arcades, with the Palm Pilot, I had it with it. You can hack them and do whatever you want. I'm a hack. I seldom ever keep things the way they are. I always modify them.
You're
even
a good
when
company, Carl.
Yeah, even when I finally went to the Apple, I never went to the Apple iPhone until you could jailbreak it. Once you could jailbreak it, then I got on board there, and then once they stopped that, I abandoned Apple like a hot potato. But regarding the arcades, I've always been a fan of vertical arcade games, and I always had some type of arcade as close as you can get. Speaking of the Apple, I did have the iPad, and I had the iCade Bluetooth arcade little cabinet.
Right.
And of course it was jailbroken, so I could play all kinds of games. Someone had made this program that would emulate you touching the screen, because the iPad, you touch the screen, right? But they allow that to translate the joystick and button moves to actually punch or touch the screen, which was pretty awesome technology. And I would play Street Fighters and all the retro games on my iArcade, which was fantastic. But that was a little small cabinet. Outside of that, I had been looking to, get an arcade cabinet, but I don't have carpentry skills. So, and I never wanted these big, giant 300-pound cabinets. My buddy had, what's the game? Starts with an R, and the guy has like a yo-yo type of weapon.
Rygar.
Very good.
My best friend had a Rygar, a full cabinet. This thing was just
here,
huge.
Man.
You can never put this thing anywhere. It ended up being in his garage, And I was like, I don't want to do that. And so I started playing around with the Retro Pi. The Raspberry Pi.
Yep.
Because Raspberry Pi has been out for a while, and I kept looking for a reason to use it.
They're beautiful.
And cost effective. I end up putting making where I download my movies, then I can stream it to any TV. I used the Raspberry Pi for that, and then went to Kodi as you started more into the streaming. But I always had the arcade games on the Raspberry Pi, But you're sitting at the TV, you're sitting on the couch on the TV with a controller in your hand. And that's not the way you play arcade games, right? So when these guys came out 2018, it was like, wow, that's a pretty nice looking cabinet. I can throw a Raspberry Pi into it that I already had, and get this thing up and going. So it was just a natural progression from where I was already, going to. Now I just had a nice cabinet to be able to play the game. So I initially modded the ones that I had, and then over time I said I get things that I don't mind just walking up and playing some golf, right? Or walking up and playing Star Wars or whatever the case. But the ones I love playing the most are the ones that are modded, because I can play, all the vertical games I love.
Okay, so you got more than one game in some of them, basically. So my question is moot, I guess, as far as which one's your favorite one. But I guess since you have all the games.
Yeah. Again, I'm a vertical guy, so I love the Pac-Mans, Miss Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Donkey Kong. If I ever got a full-size cabinet, it most likely would be a Donkey Kong.
Nice. I see behind you got the officially released Nintendo cabinet there behind you there, playing Donkey Kong.
Oh,
I'm just razzing
the unofficial.
Joking.
Yeah, Donkey Kong.
Nintendo don't watch our crap.
I love Donkey Kong.
I
love Donkey Kong until they went 3D. On one of the consoles. Was it Nintendo 64?
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country.
Well, actually, Super Nintendo with Donkey Kong Country a little bit.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. I kind of lost. I never really liked it once it went past that. But I love the old school games.
Donkey Kong Jr. is my favorite.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Jr. Yep. I play all those things all the time.
Do you guys remember going to the arcade and putting a quarter like to hold your spot? Like on the screen. Do you guys do that where you were?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Because that saved your spot. I'll tell you a little funny story. When we had, now growing up, we initially didn't have arcades, right? You had the corner stores, you had the bowling alley.
Right.
But like I said, I'm a hack. So I helped improve the arcade games over the years. Because with Pac-Man, I used to take, because we didn't have money. So if we had a quarter, we used to try the slugs, right? You take a quarter, get 5 nickels, pound it with a hammer. But out of those 5 slugs, maybe only 1 or 2 would work. So it wasn't really good. So we would take the paper clip, one of the bigger size paper clips, and you could stick it up in the coin return, and you could pop credits.
Did not know that one.
All the old school. On the Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, those type of games.
Yeah, because the trigger for the operator, there's a spring there, and some of the old coin mechs, it was right there.
Okay.
And that's why you could reach it with that paperclip, because it was right there, right above where the quarter would drop into the bottom.
Yep.
I have a few of those cabinets here, and I'm like, well, no wonder people were able to. They improved that later on.
Yeah, they put blocks,
shields and things
there.
Yeah, but I do remember that.
so they stopped that because obviously the owners of these cabinets would say like, man, these guys been playing all day, and then they open up the cabinet at the end of the day, and it's like 6 quarters in there, right? So we helped improve that, and then like with the Donkey Kong, you could stick a straw through the hinge on the door and pop.
Yeah, that's what someone Spike just said that too. He used straws, really.
Yep. Use a straw on the hinge.
I did not know that one.
And then I
knew some of them, but I didn't know that one.
But of course, they fixed that. So we constantly helped them improve their commercial products so that they could
leave it
make
to Detroit Love for research and development.
Look at that.
And product.
Look at that. I didn't know about any of those. I knew about the slugs,
I can.
But I never knew going through the coin return with those things. I never knew that.
Yeah. We play hours and hours and hours until they figured it out. Because obviously it was like, look, man, y'all got to help us. These kids are, putting quarters in this thing. How in the heck are they doing that, right? So that was.
See, this is not only a show about classic things. It's educational. This is an educational show.
Yep. You can't do it anymore because you can buy the whole cabinet for a price of it.
Right.
Well, not right now. I guess maybe 10 years ago they wanted to get rid of them. So it's pretty cool. So what movies did you watch in the 80s, Carl? What movies? Like if there was one movie that got you like running outside the theater, yelling and screaming with your arms up in the air, which movie was it?
Movies are very difficult. It's very difficult for me to rewatch anything that I've seen before. So it has to be a really, really good movie for me to
memorable one. I guess that's maybe the better way of wording it.
I would say probably I don't know that. I hate it. I did not like. Once you went past 2 on a series, I never watched the 3rd one and beyond.
They giving Rocky?
No. I just get.
Rocky 4 wasn't
I'm just
bad.
done with it. No. Once you get past
it
2,
holds up now, but
it's just like you're just regurgitating. You're just stretching it too thin. But I don't know. I got married at 18, had a kid at 21. I was quickly into Barney and all the kid stuff. And then I had 2 girls 10 years after that.
You had no life at 18 years old because that's what happens. It focuses on your children.
Right.
Not the social stuff. So at 18 years old, if you're, changing diapers and stuff like that, yeah, I could see that being, I don't care what's at the theater, kind of thing. And I could see that.
Yep.
I could totally see that.
of course, if you named off movies, I could say yay and nay whether I liked it or not. But I didn't really go to the movie.
Krull. How about Krull?
No idea what that is.
Is that was a pretty
it's
good
a
movie.
weird, obscure '80s movie that I think 5 people liked.
No, it wasn't that bad. But it's one of those pictures where, like, when Dune came out in like the late '80s, it was hyped, and it didn't live up, I think, to the hype. It was like a typical, adventure film on another world.
Nobody remembers it other than the weapon.
The weapon was the best part.
If you ask anybody, but you're like, what's funny about that show, Carl, is you ask anybody about Krull, they're like, what the hell's that? Well, it's the weapon that had like 5 things with knives on it and stuff. They're like, oh yeah. And you ask them parts about the movie, they have no idea.
It was all about the weapon. All about the weapon.
And everybody remembers the weapon, but nothing else.
Now, someone had a comment there about Star Wars. I've always had Star Wars toys, and action figures, and all that stuff. But I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen any full movie of any of the Star Wars series.
What?
No,
my heart just stopped.
And I go back and I try to watch them, and I just can't. I cannot get through them.
What? Not even.
I remember.
He's out. Cancel the show now. He's out.
Wait, why? How is it possible? I mean, I can understand some of them, but like episode 4 and 5 are really. I mean,
if you use the diaper excuse on Star Wars, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't know why. Again, but I've always loved the characters. I've always had toys of them, but for some reason, I've just never, even all these years, even when I was downloading movies and had every movie you could ever have.
We don't sanction that type of thing, Carl.
Oh no, well that's
nobody does that stuff ever.
They're all streamed now, so it's irrelevant these days, right?
You know what? Carl's one of those people that you meet in your lifetime that never seen Star Wars, and it blows my mind every single time. I'm a sucker for it. That how could you have gone from 1977 to now and never seen Star Wars? And you're not the only one, Carl. I'm not singling you out. I've
all
met
3 of them.
All kinds of people never seen Star Wars, and you're kind of like, all right.
I've seen Star Wars. I just never seen it from start to end.
So just bits and pieces as you're cooking dinner or something.
Right.
So was there a series though, like a movie franchise, Indiana Jones? Is there something as a kid that you really did enjoy?
Yeah, I used to enjoy the Indiana Jones series. Planet of the Apes was kind of weird, but
the earlier ones are weird.
Yeah,
I enjoyed them.
I like the new movies. They're a lot better.
You got to think about it. In the earlier days, I've seen hours and hours of MASH, and I can't stand MASH. But you didn't have a whole lot of options, right? You didn't have a whole lot of options.
You like Gilligan's Island? That's good enough for us.
Yeah, you watched what was available, right? You only had like 5 channels.
Yeah, kids don't get that today. If you had to be there at home at a certain time, or you missed it. There was no VCRs, and you had to wait. And sometimes you never caught that episode you missed.
Oh, sometimes you had the VCR, but then your dad would be taping over something else, and or the VCR was playing another movie or something. Yeah, so it's
but growing up, the most significant day of the week was what?
Friday.
Saturday
morning cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons.
Man.
Absolutely.
I mean, we live for it. And I tell you, even today, I'm just a noun. No, I'm just a bill.
Yeah, man, do
I'm
it.
Just a bill. A noun is a person, place, or thing. I mean, I could go through adjectives.
Conjunction, junction. What's your function?
Junction.
What's my function?
Schoolhouse Rock. Yeah.
Schoolhouse Rock, man.
Schoolhouse Rock. That's what it was called.
We
had that up
so
here.
Much.
We had that and Mr. Dressup up here.
But what's everything in like miles and gallons? You were using liters, right? How'd you have that up there?
Yeah. We were brainwashed nice and early. Yeah, just nice and early. Carl knows he's got a wife that speaks metric.
Know what I miss about like that? When I was growing up, I was young. I was young. They would have when new season of Saturday morning cartoons would start. That Friday, they had like a 2-hour block showing all the cartoons. Your mind was just you were freaking out to see these shows. And then you
were just hopped up on sugary cereals.
Well, that's true too. This is like 8 o'clock, like 8 to 9 o'clock. They showed you all the shows for that channel.
The fall lineup. What was coming?
Then you went next morning. You're like by the TV set to watch these shows. Kung Fu, shows like that.
They will never understand that, kids today,
at
all.
No,
because religiously you'd wake up Saturday morning. Your parents would tell you not to put the TV too loud or they'd kill you. And you'd watch your stuff with your cereal in front of the TV and watch Smurfs to whatever,
they were on forever.
Whatever came on. What's that?
Smurfs, they were on forever.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, yeah. But Carl, what was your go-to cartoon Saturday morning? What was the one that, other than a School of Rock that you just sang to? Thank you for that. And what was the one there, cartoon that you went, okay, if I miss this, I'm screaming.
I think for me this was the Justice League.
Justice League, Super Friends. It was Super Friends.
Yeah, Super Friends. Yeah, I didn't really.
Meanwhile, at the Batcave.
Right. Meanwhile, yeah. The Super Friends, that was a must.
That's sure.
Cool. I think Spider-Man had a show.
Spider-Man is Amazing Friends.
Amazing Friends,
with the same
right?
background. No, that's maybe he's talking about the 1967 one where the background was the same over and over again.
Well, that's from the 60s. The 60s ones, it was like 3 frames of animation that they reused like every time, like Iron Man, Thor, Spider-Man, Hulk.
Yep. Casper, I used to like Casper. Obviously, Tom and Jerry. Nobody watched cartoons without
Tom and Jerry.
Some Tom and Jerry.
Mighty Mouse, Captain Caveman. I just read the comments. Sorry.
Felix the cat. Felix the cat.
Felix the cat.
Yeah, okay.
Now, I never really was. I've never really been a collector. But the comic strips, I only read a few. I used to read Archie. I used to love Archie comic strip.
Yeah, why? No, I need to know why. A lot of people really like Archie. I've seen him, Jughead, those guys. What was the reason? I mean, people really seem to like Archie.
It never did it for me.
I don't know. I like Richie Rich.
Richie Rich.
And Richie Rich. I read all Richie Rich comic books. Archie, Casper the Ghost, and then Spider-Man. Those were my only comic books.
Okay. At the back of the comic books, did you order the Sea Monkeys?
Yep, definitely. Yep. We did
the Sea Monkeys.
We
all were like,
the,
oh my God,
drawing.
There's like chicks and stuff. But there were women Sea Monkeys. Oh my God.
Right. We ordered Sea Monkeys. We drew the little turtle man or whatever you would order all kinds of little things out the back of those comics. Hilarious.
That's funny. Or the X-ray goggles or the X-ray whatever, or what was
the spy pen
that made
the spy pen.
The spy pen, but there was one too where there was like a bodybuilder on the side of the beach.
Oh,
or
right.
Whatever.
You had the
you're like
skinny
you're
guy,
a wiener reading these books.
Right.
You're gonna
the guy
not
kicking
have
sand.
Yeah. That's the one.
I don't even know what
that was. I used to get those in Boys Life. Remember Boys Life?
Was it or vitamins or I don't know. I don't even know. But you remember that him getting kicked sand in his face and he should be this buff guy.
Kid love those.
Right.
Those X-ray glasses, by the way, never worked. Just saying.
No.
It was false advertising.
How would you know that?
His friend told him about it.
Yeah,
I'm asking for a friend. That's cool. That's really awesome. The comic books, I wasn't a big comic book reader personally. I wasn't much into them, but I did have a few of them, but I didn't collect them as much.
Right.
I was more of a music guy, and I would listen to more music than anything else. What were your favorite bands back then, or singers, or what type of music?
I'm from Motown, so you had tons of Motown. So being here, like my mother and them grew up with Stevie Wonder down the street, and so we had access to tons of music, and the 45s.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people got the
LPs nowadays.
Right. Most people know LPs, but you had the 45s,
right,
which were with the singles. The singles would be on the 45s. That's right.
And EPs, which were, I forget what the different
8-tracks, baby. Right. 8-tracks was that, man.
8-tracks.
You can jump right to where you wanted to go.
Last longer than 8 tracks.
Now I remember my uncles would have 8 tracks, but that either was just before me or it didn't last long. I don't recall the order of it, but they would have those 8 tracks in their cars. But
that's cool that you grew up around Motown. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, awesome music. And we talk about like today you're streaming music, but back then, if you wanted something without having to pay for it, you get tape it off the radio, right? You record it off the radio.
Or you do what you and I spoke about before the show got started, in a sense, and you get on your bike and go to the record store and pedal your ass back from the record store and hope it didn't rain or something. And you brought your allowance and you told your parents where you were going, and halfway across town to go to the record store. And yeah, for sure.
Jumping beans. Remember the
kids
jumping
have
beans?
No concept of.
Sorry, JLS put that jumping beans. I remember those things.
Oh, the Mexican jumping beans.
Yep.
Yeah. They actually worked for a little while. Then they died.
There's a bug or a worm in it, right?
Actually a little bug.
There's a worm,
animal in there, But kids don't really today have no concept of just being outside.
No.
I mean, if you were indoors prior to the video games coming around, if you were indoors, you were on punishment.
That's right.
They had no.
Oh my
business.
God, you're so right.
They had no business being indoors. Yeah, why would you be indoors when you be outside? And it's funny because the guys would play basketball, the girls would be skip rope, and it's funny, we all play like hide and seek, right? Ring around the rosy. You didn't know what those things meant. You didn't realize ring around rosy meant was talking about the plague, and they would put roses in their pockets because when they would fall down and die, then their bodies wouldn't smell. You didn't have no concept as a kid that's what you were singing about.
I did not know that till just now.
That's a ring around the rosy. Ring around the rosy.
I ain't sleeping tonight. Thanks, Carl.
Ashes, we all fall down. Yeah, because that was from the plague, and people would put posies in their pockets because they know when they was going to die, and then they would, and then. So
it's so funny. Nursery rhymes you sing to kids and babies are all horrible stories.
Yeah. Almost every fairy tale is a very dark, story. It's funny. I got my Batman hat on. It's funny. The girls would sing these. I don't know what they call that stuff when they be doing all this stuff, but they have these little songs.
Patty cake.
Patty cake. and or when they're skipping rope, they have these little songs. But my auntie used to always sing this thing about Batman. It's hilarious because I used to love Batman. But they had this thing called Batman. He took her to the movie. Batman. The movie was groovy. Batman. Then they go, Batman. He took her to his house. Batman. And threw her on the couch. Batman.
It got hot and heavy there, that song, after a while.
Batman. He put it in easy. Batman.
Damn.
And pulled it out greasy. I'm like, what in the world? Now, you didn't know what the posies were, but you knew what the heck they were singing there. Why are they singing that jumping rope?
My 8-year-old mind. Oh my God.
Actually, what I really miss when you think about it, and Carl hit it on the head so big, was it was a punishment to stay inside the house, and you couldn't go outside with your friends. Yeah. Hearing all the kids playing outside, just hearing laughter,
and torture.
You don't hear that anymore. You do not hear that. I don't hear it anymore. Do you?
No.
I do on my street here. On my street, the kids are outside, which is awesome to see. But yeah, typically you don't, because parents don't even let kids go. It's like, oh, you can only go from that driveway to this driveway. We literally. Our parents didn't know where we were, didn't care where we were. As long as you came back before the street lights came on, they had no idea
supper
where we were.
Or dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever,
and that was the time. And you better not, no one better not come back injured. Because if someone came back injured,
my arm's gone. Ma!
Right. And they would tell you, if someone comes back with a broken limb, I'm gonna break your limb. So y'all better make sure everybody's good when they come back. But we would be. We would ride our bikes over to Canada, across the bridge, and we'd be everywhere.
You were that close to the border?
Yeah. Detroit's right across the.
Well, I know, but Detroit's a big area. So if you were close enough to ride a bike?
No, we rode our bikes everywhere. This is miles and miles, 20 miles, 30 miles. It didn't matter. We rode our bikes everywhere.
Nobody disappeared back then, or didn't show up in a milk cart until later, probably.
And they did. It's just you just didn't know about it.
Right.
Was it you? Because you're here today.
Right.
That's good.
But kids do get shortchanged from that stuff. I mean, my son, I think he's seen daylight
twice.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
my son's no different, so I've got nothing better to say.
But those are fun times, just with your friends, exploring in areas, and taking your bikes out. We used to play bike tag, so we did get injured. I'll tell you right now. So we would have gotten in trouble. We got injured all the time.
Yeah, we got injured. We broke all kinds of stuff. And we used to make some crazy stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the cans to pop. You used to have this like rip-off thing.
Yeah.
Right? You had that little ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the guys would be drinking beer wherever they hung out, and they would just throw them on the ground, right? So we used to make these guns that it shot those little discs, those little
like
rings.
rubber band guns to launch them.
Yeah, rubber band guns, right? Yeah. So you have a rubber band, you pull it back, and then you have the old clotheslines. The back then you hung your clothes out on the lines. That's how you dried it.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had the clothesline, and then you had these little.
No, I remember the guns. I remember the clotheslines too. But I remember what as you're describing it, and I'm like, oh, the clothespin gun. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the clothespin. Right. So you squeeze that, and they shoot these things out.
Oh yeah.
And we did that for summers, and then all of a sudden they switched the way the cans open. So then those things became
weapons.
Extinct. you couldn't find any more bullets for your rubber band guns.
Wow. We used to have jumps at our house with bricks, cinder blocks, and a piece of plywood.
Yep. Oh, with your bike.
Yep.
Yeah. We'd put 3,
absolutely.
then 2, and 1, and a piece of plywood in a sort of half pyramid thing, and then you take your pedal bike and launch your ass. Sometimes you would get the middle of the handlebar in your crotch area, and you'd be on the ground, and your friends would be kicking you like, get up. I can't speak or talk or feel anything anymore. You'd pick it right back up and do it again. And you're like,
yep, absolutely.
Yeah. You'd launch your bike, and then your dad would wonder, why is the frame cracked on your bike? And you're like, nothing. And you do it where he wouldn't see you, right? So he was just jumping the bike.
And he's right. The bike back then was like a car. When you became a teenager, it was your freedom. If your parents took your bike away, it's just as bad as being grounded inside the house. You couldn't do anything.
You guys remember the bikes with the banana seats? They called them.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The back.
They're called sissy poles. That's what we called them. I don't know. Those are the Swins. They had the banana seat, and then they had that what we call sissy poles.
Yeah. And you'd ride on the back pegs, and you'd hold on to the back and then pull on it to do a wheelie for the guy. It was kind of a weird driving experience, but yeah. Then the BMXs took over after that.
I loved my BMX. Oh, I loved that.
Doom buggies, that's what we call them. Those big fat gas device. You guys ever had those? You can have. I had a
regular I had a Kawasaki 90 and a 125. I didn't have a 4-wheel. I had a 2-wheeler at the time.
Okay.
I remember gas, 75 cents a gallon. 75 cents filled up my tank. That was a whole day of fun.
Oh yeah, in the end, those days are very different than what we have now. Even if you open the door and asked your kids to leave and put a $20 bill on the porch to make them to go out, they won't. Get me that $20 bill later.
We're running out of time, but we have like 9 minutes, so I'm going to give you guys more time. But one thing I just was thinking about just now, and I hope it doesn't flee my small little brain. I was just thinking about it. Was that kids as a game to like unbox things. There's actually a game. I think Steven, your son or your daughter was getting this game.
It's called Unboxing. And it's on the original, the Xbox One. It's
stupid.
Kind of weird.
It's genius because they're making money, obviously, but how stupid. Just go in your room right now and clean your room and put them in boxes and unbox it. Why do I got to buy an app for that? So I'm going to get an app to look like you're going outside versus actually going outside. Is that the world we have now?
That's $1 million idea right there. Go outside and there's treasures and troves and all kinds of warlocks and demons and everything are outside, not just on the video game world. So, but yeah, it's not a problem. I guess COVID didn't help either.
It didn't.
Forcing you to be inside for the last 2 years. You know what I mean? So I think kids, to be honest, to get real a little bit here, they're just scared to go outside with this whole pandemic crap, and I think my kids are 13 and 17 and they did their school mostly online and they're just afraid, I think, in general. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think we contribute to that even before that. We very overprotective compared to our parents, without a doubt.
Because we know how bad we were. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
But guys, I have to open the next show up, so I'm going to have to jet. But man, this was a blast, kicking it old school
right.
with you guys.
And
man.
what show would that be?
Thanks for coming.
What show going? Would it be the Super Game Room Dudes?
Super Game Room Dudes, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and about 8 minutes from now. Absolutely, definitely. If you don't have anywhere to go, definitely check out the next show.
Carl's got to go get changed like they do on the stage shows and stuff. And get changed in their new wardrobe.
Is it in your contract?
New show.
Is that in your contract?
It is in my contract. Yes, sir.
Well, listen, before you go,
before you go,
we know about Super Game Room Dudes, but you also have your own channel called Detroit Love, and you do all kinds of things on there. Just give one more last plug for both, and then we will let you go. How about that? I'll let you go at that point.
If you're interested in technology, I'm bound to have what you're looking for on Detroit Love. Just look us up. Look me up on Facebook. Look me up on YouTube. That's my main forum. If you search for Detroit Love or Real Detroit Love, you'll and definitely subscribe. I'm this close to 5,000 subscribers, so
awesome.
I appreciate if you guys can help.
Thanks for coming. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, have me back anytime. I love to kick it old school with you guys.
Awesome. Well, Detroit Love, listen, we'll see you on Super Game Room Dudes, everyone. Don't leave here just yet. We got a few minutes left. But at 9 o'clock, do pop over to Super Game Room Dudes and see Carl, P-Dubs, Nostalgia, and Michael B. the Game Genie. Carl, good luck on the show tonight.
Take care.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
All right, so we got a few more minutes left.
Well, I did want to our guest for next week.
Oh, who do we got?
We've got his name is Tony Cruz from Electric Adventures. He's an old school gamer like us, and essentially, he's in Australia.
Okay.
Basically, well, I don't know if Tasmania is Australia, but I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know my
it is.
Tasmanian.
The Tasmanian Devil was from Australia. Yes.
But he's got a Australian accent, and he's a super nice guy. What he does programming. He has a really good YouTube channel, does unboxings. He collects laser discs. He's a big ColecoVision fan. He's an MSX fan, arcade fan. Him and I are doing Berserk for the ColecoVision together.
Nice.
He's an old bastard like us, basically.
Well, you know what the best part of the show tonight? I wasn't the oldest guy on the show.
Yeah. Yep.
I was Peter.
Absolutely.
I wasn't Bobby, and I wasn't Greg. I was Peter tonight.
My screen went green, by the way, Glenn.
You're green?
Yeah.
The green screen for you?
Show froze, I think, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Anyways, that's who's gonna hopefully be on. My screen went half. I guess you see half my face.
Because you've got to move yourself back in the camera. Oh my God.
There, I'm scooted over.
No, hold on. Something's wrong with my camera. I'm off the screen. Oh no, Glenn, fix me. It's called move your chair back, Steven.
I guess when Carl left, it moved the whole thing around, right? So, but yeah, it's Tony Cruz, Electric Adventures. You guys can go check him out. In the meantime, till next week, but 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And for him over there, it's going to be Saturday morning for him. So
isn't that funny? He's a day ahead. Can we get the lottery numbers from him?
I don't know. You can ask him.
I'm going to ask him.
I don't know if he's still in the chat either. I don't know if he left or he's still hanging around or whatever. But yeah, he's agreed to come on. So health and world hunger or world ending or whatever, he's going to be there.
Nice.
So that'll be pretty cool. So it's I want to thank everybody for coming for sure. This is we didn't do a poll.
No, you know what? We started talking and it just got out of hand. But we had a great
that was fun.
Group in the chat. I mean, they were chatting up like crazy. I couldn't even keep up some. I hope I got everyone on the screen.
That chat's moving these days. I mean, JLS Gaming, he's got a CPS2 Darksoft board. I've got 2 CPS2 boards in my arcade, and I've been thinking about that, but that's expensive. And our loyal, what's his last name? Paul Behrens?
Yeah. What about him?
Yeah,
did I miss someone?
So he's a regular. He's like what, Norm from Cheers?
Norm!
He sits at the chair. He sits. It's Paul. He sits at the same chair at the same time, and if somebody takes his chair, he's angry.
Oh, he said, wait, Electric Adventures is still here, he said. He's still there.
He's still here.
Yeah.
Awesome. So basically, go check him out in the meantime, and you guys might have some questions for him. So he's into ColecoVision and Amiga, Commodore 64. He's a big nerd like us, and he likes all the pop culture stuff. And like I said, he collects the Laserdisc stuff. He's been accumulating a large collection of these things. So
my cousin Vinny, yes, I have a cousin Vinny. My cousin Vinny has a huge.
You have a cousin Vinny?
I do have a cousin Vinny, and he had a huge.
You're
Laserdisc
Italian
collection.
on top of that.
I am.
That is so cliche. Anyways.
Well, guys, we're going to start wrapping up here because yes, good, Stephen. Why don't you end the show out?
Thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate this. This show here is basically an experiment for me and Glenn, and you guys are basically empowering us with making this work. We didn't know if this concept would work of just chatting about 80s stuff, right? So it's pretty cool. So
it's very
at the end of the day,
very open forum.
A very open forum. We try to make everybody feel comfortable. And
oh my God! Hold on, Deputy Van Halen. Yes, I actually do have an Uncle Guido. Believe it or not.
Oh no, really?
I do.
Oh man.
I'm going to see him on Easter, as a matter of
fact. So, anyways, thank you everybody for coming, and you got to always remember to
game on and keeping it old school,
and keep your pants on.
That's true too. Till next Friday, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, and don't forget to go over to Super Game Room, dudes. They want to see you.
Yeah, get your butt over there. Bye.
At the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue, sit. Good dog.